All right, so today we're going to dive into something really cool.
Yeah.
OpenAI just dropped this thing called Canvas, and it's all about like AI teamwork for writing and coding, like
Right.
next level stuff.
Really exciting stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, really exciting.
we're looking at the OpenAI announcement, obviously, and we found this article. I think it was French.
Yeah.
We got a translation for you guys,
Hmm.
don't worry. But yeah, people are really geeking out over this.
Yeah, the internet is buzzing. You can
Yeah.
see it all over the place.
So what IS Canvas?
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
What is it?
What makes it different than just like shooting
Yeah.
the breeze with ChatGPT?
Yeah, so it's like imagine instead of just having that chat window
Yeah.
where you're going back and forth,
Okay.
you've got your project open and then Canvas is right there next to it.
Okay.
So you're looking at them side by side.
So it's like a separate window, like a workspace.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, why is that so groundbreaking?
So think about when you're really like in the weeds editing.
Yeah.
You're trying to make changes.
It's hard to keep track.
Yeah, and if you're in a chat, it's just like scrolling up, and it gets lost.
Yeah.
So this way, Canvas is more intuitive. You can say like, hey, I want feedback on this, and it will actually like make edits in real time.
So it's more like you're working with another person on it. Or
Yes, exactly. It's like having a collaborator rather than just a tool.
That's kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah,
That feels like a big shift.
big time. That's exactly what OpenAI is going for. It's not just making ChatGPT smarter. It's like changing the whole dynamic.
Okay, so I'm on board so far.
Yeah.
Tell me what it can do. Like what can it actually do?
Okay, so say you're working on a blog post.
Mm-hmm.
Canvas can be like your copy editor. It can look at your grammar, your clarity, word count, make sure it's the right reading level.
Oh, wow.
It can even like add emojis.
Wait, emojis, really? They
Yeah.
thought of everything. Okay, but what about code? Like,
Yeah.
I'm more of a code monkey. What about for us?
They were really thinking about that.
Okay.
Like those revision headaches we all get.
Oh, tell me about it.
Canvas just takes them, throws them out the window. You can like review your code, tell you if there are bugs,
Oh, wow.
add comments
Oh,
to
well-
explain like what it's thinking.
So it's like more transparent.
Exactly. And OpenAI is really pushing that transparency angle, especially with code, because you have to be able to understand what it's doing to work with it.
That makes sense. Yeah, for sure. So how did they even teach it to do all that?
Right. It's
Yeah.
like, how do you train an AI to be this collaborative?
Yeah, what's the secret sauce?
Lots of AI wizardry for sure. But OpenAI, they've been training GPT-4o to be like a true partner.
Yeah.
And part of that is knowing when to jump in and when to just hang back.
So it's not always on. It's like it knows
All right.
when to contribute.
Exactly.
It's almost like, I don't know, teaching a dog to like fetch, but instead of a stick, it's like insightful code comments or emojis.
That's a great analogy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's not easy to teach an AI to be so intuitive.
Right. So how do they even, what's the training process like? Do they like, I don't know,
So they use this
think
thing,
watch buddy cop movies?
well, close. They use this thing called synthetic data generation.
Okay.
So basically, they create all this training data using the outputs from their other AI models,
Oh, wow.
even like OpenAI O1 preview, that kind of thing.
So they're like feeding it, like AI inception.
It's AI
Yeah,
inception.
that's so cool.
Exactly.
And that teaches it to be more collaborative.
Yeah, it's like giving it all of this experience, and it works. So they found that with writing tasks, it triggers correctly, like 83% of the time.
That's awesome.
And then for coding, it's even higher. It's like 94%.
That's amazing. Those are really good numbers.
Mm.
Were there any like hiccups along the way? What were some of the challenges of training it?
Well, one of the trickiest things is getting that balance right. Like, when should it just like make a little edit? And when should it like rewrite the whole thing?
Right, because you don't want it to take
Well,
over.
yeah, we want a collaborator, not a dictator. you know?
Yeah.
So to deal with that, they really focused on user intention.
Okay.
So like if you highlight something, then it knows to focus on that.
Oh, that's smart.
Right. You're giving it a cue.
Yeah. Instead of just like redoing the whole thing.
Exactly.
Okay, that's really cool.
So you're always the one in control.
So what about, we talked about code reviews before.
Yeah.
How do you teach it to give good code feedback? Isn't that really subjective?
It is super subjective.
Yeah.
And that was a challenge, because it's one thing to write code that works. It's another thing to tell a human, like, hey, this could be better. right?
Mm.
So at first, they tried these automated ways to measure comment quality, and it just wasn't really
It
working.
wasn't nuanced enough, yeah.
It wasn't nuanced enough.
So what did they do?
They brought in the humans.
Of
They
course.
had real developers look at the AI's comments, see if they made sense, if they were helpful.
Okay, so like a test audience, but for code comments.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Because at the end of the day, humans are still better at some of this stuff.
Yeah, sometimes you just need that human touch.
Totally.
So after all that, how did it actually perform? Like, were the comments better?
Yeah, it was amazing. So with the GPT 4.0 version of Canvas, they saw an 18% improvement in targeted edits alone,
Oh, wow.
which is huge.
That's
And
amazing.
remember how we said comment quality was a big one for coding? The model that had human feedback, it was 30% more accurate.
Oh, wow.
And the comments were 16% better quality.
Wow, so they actually taught it to give good notes.
Yeah, they taught it to give good
But
notes.
that's wild. It's very cool.
And the craziest thing is this is still early beta.
That's so exciting. We're like watching it be born.
I know.
This is like a whole new way of interacting with AI.
Absolutely. It really makes you wonder what else is coming down the pipeline.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like they just opened up this whole new dimension of
Oh.
how we even use AI.
It's not just about making what we have better. It's like, what can we even do now that we couldn't do before?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's really cool for the future of AI, but what about like right now for someone listening to us talk?
Right. Like, what does this actually mean?
Yeah, how can this impact people?
Well, that's what we're going to get into next. We're going to bring it back down to earth, talk about how this can impact your work, your creativity,
Ooh, that's good.
your relationship with technology.
Okay.
Because this isn't just a cool update. This is like a fundamental shift.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's like bigger than just like one new thing.
Right.
It really feels like they're changing the game here.
Absolutely. It's like a whole different way of thinking about AI.
Okay, so we've talked about writing, coding, but like what else?
Yeah.
What other fields could this kind of AI teamwork shake up?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so imagine like an architect
Okay.
designing a skyscraper,
Mm-hmm.
and they can bounce ideas off of canvas,
Okay.
Hey, is this structurally sound?
Hmm.
Is this energy efficient?
So it's like having a consultant who's
Yeah.
always there.
Built in. Or think about like
That's
musicians using it to compose, like you're working on a symphony,
Oh, wow.
and canvas is like suggesting harmonies.
So it's like a brainstorming partner,
Exactly.
but like way smart.
It knows about music theory.
That's incredible. So this could really change how people work.
Yeah, think about education, journalism, all these fields
Mhm.
where collaboration is already so key.
It's like giving people superpowers almost.
It really is.
That's wild.
But, obviously we have to think about the ethical side of things too.
Right, of course, yeah.
But the potential is huge.
Yeah, it's not just about the AI learning. It's about us learning how to work with it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So for everyone listening, what do you want them to take away from all this?
That's a good question.
Like, what's the one thing?
I would say, don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
Don't think of Canvas as just this thing.
Yeah.
Think of it as a partner. Like, what can you do together?
So it's an invitation to explore.
Exactly.
That's a good way to put it.
Thanks.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will discover the next big thing with this.
I hope so.
Eh.
That's what's so exciting, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what's next.
Yeah, it's a wide open future.
This is just the beginning.
Well, this has been an awesome deep dive.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked about Canvas and everything else that's coming.
Me too. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Definitely. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Until next time, keep exploring.
And keep innovating.